Step into the light where the wild ones roam, where the heart speaks loud, calling this place home. We break the rules, we paint the sky, ridiculously you, we were born to fly. Ooh, ooh, it's ridiculously you.
It is Julie May. Welcome to the Ridiculously You podcast. So listen up. Today's guest is not here to play small or let you play small. Laura is what happens when your higher self grows legs and kicks the door down in. She's a keynote speaker, personal growth coach, and the host of the Gutsy Podcast. So you can see why we're going to get along just fine. Gutsy Podcast, Ridiculously You. We're both kind of like out there. It's a top 100 show. People go there to stop waiting and finally do the thing they were freaking born to do. We love that. But here's the deal. Laura's not just like about hustle culture and working just to work. She's not going to be simple like that. She's not going to be sugarcoating anything. She's going to help you stop shrinking and tell you the truth. So I freaking love that, and help you grow into places that are outside of what you've outgrown, like all those little things. So she sold her design agency after 16 years. That's a hard thing to do, to go all in on helping others dismantle resistance, rewrite the rules, and reclaim the parts of them they were taught to hide. So buckle up, Buttercup. It's about to get gutsy with Laura. Welcome.
Hey, Julie. Thanks so much for having me.
You are welcome. You are welcome. Okay, so I'm gonna dive into the you sold your company of 16 years. Tell us what that company was.
I had a feeling that's where we were going to start.
You're like, you've done a podcast or two. Here's what we know. We're going to ask about that. So tell us what that company was and how you just went, okay, I'm going to sell that. That's what I'm gonna do.
You know, I spent 22 years building a career and a name and a talent as a graphic designer. So I started my first business when I was 6.5 months pregnant, which was now 18 years ago. So my son just turned 18. I've been in business for 18 years. You know, my very first job was designing ads for the phone book. So we're gonna
put phone book.
Oh yeah, the phone book. So if we want to put a little context to this era.
Imagine, if you will, younger visitors.
Yes, I know. It's this old relic. We went back in time.
Exactly.
You know. So I was working there when I was pregnant. I very quickly learned that was not where I wanted to be. And I had been freelancing, and I was like, you know what, if I can do it on the side, I can do it full time. So I quit my job when I was 6.5 months pregnant, started my first design job, which was a branding agency. I ran and grew and harnessed that company for 16 years, but alongside designing, I learned that I really loved the deep, vulnerable conversations that I would have with the business owner after the real meeting. So it was like this side conversation after the meeting about branding or colors or their website or their tone. The business owner would often pull me aside and be like, "Hey, Laura, do you have a second?" And I'm like, "Yeah, what do you got?" And they were like very meaty conversations. They were the big ideas that everyone else in their world thought were crazy. It was the fear that they were experiencing that they couldn't tell anybody else because they were afraid that they were going to look like they didn't have their shit together. Right. It was just these very raw, vulnerable conversations. And I just lit up. I'm like, I want to guide you through this. I want to help support you through this. And if nothing else, I want to listen. I want to be that person that you can come and talk to. So I started coaching people. I started to interview these entrepreneurs and shared it on what used to be the Green Couch Project, which is now the Gutsy Podcast. I started getting asked to speak at events, and I tell you, Julie, like I thought I would brand until the day I left this planet. And turns out that season had an end date, and I just didn't know until I got to this point. It was post-COVID now at this point, where I was just like, I'm just not feeling spunky about this anymore. Right. It's not exciting to wake up to do. It's actually kind of draining my energy. I'm procrastinating on a lot of things. And one of the biggest moments where I was like, shit, I've got some inner work to do here, was I was asked to speak at a women's event, which normally I'm all in on.
Oh yeah.
but they asked me to speak about branding. And I said no. And I was like, Laura, what do we have going on here? There's something under that. And that was the beginning of what was soon going to be the transition of the end. That summer, I had kind of a mental breakdown. Our biggest client was finishing their contract. I didn't want to replace them. I just had this like very realization moment of like, I've got a decision I have to make. And I remember a coach told me many years ago, Laura, it's time to shit or get off the pot. And I was like, I'm just gonna do it. So I decided to sell the agency in July of 2023. By that December, it was sold.
Wow. That's awesome. How did you feel like the day it was sold? Like it's sold now. Like there's one thing that's different between I'm gonna do the thing and then when it's finalized, there's like a secondary, oh, now I feel this about that.
You know, honestly, I was relieved. And mainly because I was so clear that this was the right thing to do. Like I knew it in my body. I felt it in my soul. I'd been wanting to go all in on speaking for a long time. And I was like, oh, nobody's hiring me to speak. I'm like, yeah, Laura, because you're giving it like 4% of your time. Like, why would anybody hire you to speak if you're not giving it anything other than just like the whispers of an idea?
Exactly.
So I was like, I was relieved because I made a big decision. I was excited because I knew what I was about to embark on, right? Like I'm essentially starting all over at this point, but this time with at that time 16 years of knowledge and experience. You know, I'm not a newbie anymore, but I'm new to this new industry.
Yeah.
But I got to tell you, you know, it also coincided with at that time my husband and I owned a commercial building that we were going to build out we were going to create like this entrepreneurial hub and co-working space and event space and just like this really cool space in our downtown. I had renderings done, the contractor was picked out, the tile color was chosen. And in that same season, when we were in the midst of selling the business, I decided that I wanted to sell the building too. I'm like, I don't want to do this either. It's like literally a different version of the agency. It's just another distraction. I really have to go all in on it. If I'm going to do this, I have to go all in on it. So the business sold in December. That following February, just 2 months later, the building sold. Also a relief. But then I crashed. I mean, my whole system just went down. I got COVID for the first time. I got very sick. It triggered a very deep depression, and it came along with grief.
Yeah.
I mean, leaving something that I've spent 2 decades of my life doing was gnarly emotionally. Like I was like purging emotions that I think had been stored for many, many years. And it took me a while to move through those. I didn't rush it. I let it be what it was going to be. But it was tough.
What did moving through it look like for you? Like, what did you actually do? Because I sit here and I go, okay. And then I healed it and I worked through it and we hear all these words, but like, what was the being portion? What was the doing portion of working through it? Like you're sitting there and you're like, you're in grief. You're in like, and when I've had those moments, it's like, I don't even know if I'm going to cry the next second, or I don't know if I'm going to have energy to get out of bed the next day but like, what did healing through that actually look like for you? What did you actually do or be, or like, what was the mindset things? Like, tell us more about that.
I love this question because I think it's very important that we pull that layer back. And in all honesty, there were several weeks, probably the better part of a month, where I laid or sat and cried. I mean, it was not beautiful. It was not glamorous. My mental state was really rough. It actually got to a point where it started to scare me. A big thing that I realized, like, oh, this is like a little bit bigger than me right now, is I have to tell people. I can't just hold this in. So my husband was such a foundational rock for me at that time, just to console me and be there for me and listen, and reaching out to some mentors, some people that I love and adore that are in the mental health space. Just saying, hey, have you gone through this before? Hey, what do you know? Hey, am I losing my mind? Hey, is this it? Like, am I done? Because that's honestly what it felt like in many of those hours. So it was a lot of crying, sitting, overthinking, and reaching out. And, you know, each day got just like maybe a fraction of a bit better. Starting to go outside, something as simple as going and sitting on my front porch for 10 minutes, like looking at the clouds, feeling the air on my face, just like getting context back and starting to like reconnect with myself because I was so outside of myself. You know what I mean? Like it felt like this was eternity at that point.
Yeah.
Those are the biggest things that I did. It was a lot of crying. There's no way around it. But not expressing it, it just bottles it up. It's
So
gonna
like
come
it
out.
goes so poorly.
It's gonna come out an hour later. And you might as well get it over with now because otherwise it's just going to build and it's going to show up in a way that is not going to serve you better later.
It does not. And it like compresses. It's like it comes in and comes in and comes in and it compresses and compresses. And a lot of times it kind of explodes out when you don't really have control over it. So we don't love that.
We don't.
So we don't love that. But like sitting and crying, that's part of grief. But additionally, I think one of the important things you said, and this is something I do when I have had those moments and those times in my life, is getting outside enough to feel present in your body and just being like, I'm here right now. I can feel the wind. I can feel the nature. I can be here in this moment, present right now. I think that's such one of those like key pieces to get you going, okay, I'm not outside my body. I'm not, worrying about everything that was past, everything that was future. If we can get like right here, right now, does so much for us. And I like doing it in nature, like 10 times is all of that. So
yeah, absolutely. It took me probably the better part of 3 months to be able to start feeling like a person again. I mean, between the sickness, the actual sickness of COVID, the depression that triggered neurologically, and the grief, that it was just a perfect storm. You know what I mean? And it took me down and out. So I didn't work for about 3 months. I mean, maybe odds and ends here and there, but creating anything, getting the speaking business off the ground, forget it. It was non-existent. But I think I also knew that.
Yeah.
Like I think a lot of times we want to rush through those uncomfortable moments because why? They're uncomfortable. But really, like that's our body's way of saying, I need you right now. Can we do this together? Can you maybe not close me off or shut me down or pretend like I don't exist? Can maybe we co-create this together so that we can heal through it?
Yeah. What do you think the biggest thing you learned through going through that you teach your clients now?
That we have to feel it. I mean, being vulnerable and feeling your emotions, who's like, hell yeah, let's do it. Like it's not exciting.
It's not.
It's not exhilarating. Like, oh, you know what I can't wait to do this week? Feel my feelings. Like it's just not a thing. And especially I work with a lot of very ambitious, strong-willed, talented women, and they just want to move through it, right? They just want to get back into it. They know how to do all the stuff. They're high producers. Slowing down is like a death sentence. But reality is that's where we gain everything that we need to be able to move forward. So not rushing through that has allowed me to move through this chapter much faster. Because had I not felt it through, had I not honored my body, had I not taken that time off, had I not just been an absolute mess, it would still be showing up right now. Guaranteed. Maybe not with such intensity, but it would be a through line for sure.
For sure. And like I said, there's always so many beautiful lessons that you can bring in then to your clientele. When they have their big crash, you can be like, I actually have been through this. I know how this feels in my body. And everyone experiences it a little bit different, but there are certain things that you just can't feel and understand until you've been there and done it. And high performers, like they're out there making big risks usually, and they're hustling and doing a thing. And with big risks and big hustles do come some crashes, do have some times when your body hits a wall and says, because you worked and worked and worked and worked, I'm going to crash for you so that we can rest for a minute. And now you have some skills and some knowledge and some being to help them get through that, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So tell me a little bit about how you serve the world now. What does current Laura look like? You said you serve high level women a lot. So tell us a little bit more about that.
Yeah. So I spend my day and my hours. If I'm not on stage giving a keynote presentation, I'm running a mastermind for women, or I have a community for women. And so what that looks like is, I'm simply here to help these women make the bold moves that they can't stop thinking about. That
Mm,
change that they keep bumping up against, that shift that they want to make. I work with a lot of entrepreneurs that are looking to either start their business or grow their business. I work with and attract a lot of women that are either at the beginning or have just filed for divorce. Women that have just been everything to everyone their entire existence, and they're ready to put themselves at the front of the line. They're ready to go after that talent that they have. They're ready to shift out of a career that they've just been stuck in for a long time. You know what I mean? Like they just have something more in them to give, and they've just never really felt like they were allowed to put that first. And so these women are making bold moves, and sometimes they're small moves and sometimes they're big moves. But ultimately they're the right moves for them in the right season.
So these women out there, they're like, I want to do this big, bold thing, and they're resisting it. They're like,
Oh yeah.
it's sitting there. I feel it in my heart. Here it is. Here's the big dream I have. And they don't do it
Because they overthink it. They worry about what everyone else is going to say and think. They make it way more complicated than it needs to be. They don't think that they're allowed or worthy of doing it. I mean, I could write a whole novel on all the reasons. But
Next
one
book
of the
by Laura.
yes. One of the big things honestly is the need to have it all figured out. So needing to have a perfectly curated plan, needing to know how everything is going to go. They want a color coded spreadsheet. They want to know what the weather's going to be like that day, so they know what to wear, right? Like they make it so complicated that it doesn't even feel feasible. It's now so big, or there's so many missing pieces that like now I can't. It's too much for me to wrap my head around. And that just turns them away. They're like,
Right.
another day, another year, right? And then before we know it, a decade has gone by. And so one of the things I work with them on is just simply simplifying this stuff. Like, let's
Right.
break it down. We need to have direction, right? So one of the big things we work on is clarity. What do you actually want? So if you're listening right now and you're kind of mulling around, the first question I want you to ask yourself is, what do I actually want? And I want you to be gutsy enough to answer that with truth and honesty. You don't have to tell
Yeah.
anybody. This is for you. But this is your North Star. This is the thing. If without clarity, we have no direction. And if we don't have direction, we're just doing a bunch of shit all the time and not getting anywhere. So clarity is the first piece. The next piece is making one next step. We don't have to have the whole thing figured out in order to achieve it. We just have to have one step towards it instead of away from it. And so, what is that one thing? Sometimes it's simple as returning a phone call or making a phone call, sending an email, doing some research, asking a friend, hiring a coach, right? Like, what is the one next step that we can take towards this? And when they're able and willing to make that one next step, always 100% of the time, something else unfolds. A
Yes.
little more clarity, the right person in the right place. They get an aha moment that they were like banging their head against the wall trying to figure out. Like, momentum is built with doing. We
Yeah.
have to be willing to make that one next step. All the answers that you need are on the other side of that.
For sure. Well, and I find a lot of times too, the ones that have like this big elaborate, I have to have all of these pieces in place. It's not that they have to have all those pieces in place. A lot of times the pieces in place that have 5 million moving parts is just an avoidance tactic, because it's like, okay, if I actually did the thing, there's some fears that need to be overcome there,
Mm-hmm.
right? I don't know. Tell me your thoughts on that.
Oh my gosh, absolutely. I mean, if we're fixated on all the pieces of the big plan, then we don't actually have to do it.
Yeah.
Which is funny because you want to do the thing. A quote that I say very often that always gets people riled up is, the thing that you want the most is often behind the thing that you resist the most.
For sure.
If you pay attention to the thing and stuff that you are resisting, the answers, the next step, the clarity, the shift, the transformation that you're hungry for is on the other side of that thing. We've got to be willing to do the thing. So we can plan to death. You can think about this idea all day long. You can have all the pieces, but until you actually do something, it's going to stay an idea. And that's going to eat away at you. If it's truly meant for you, it will eat away at you.
Yeah. I think one of the important things you just said a little bit before that is how it all unfolds together, though. Like, even if, let's say, you could plan it all out, you have your whole spreadsheet, you have everything color coded, everyone fits in the box. As you went and did the steps, you would find that it needs to adjust and shift and change than your original idea anyway. Because
100%.
like you don't know what you don't know. You don't know the thing until it's like walking into a tunnel with a flashlight and you're like, you think you know where it's going to go and you see like this far in front of you, right? And so you start to step and you start to step and you start to step and you didn't even realize there was a thing over here and you didn't even realize there was a treasure chest. You have no idea that those things exist until you just start walking into the dark and having enough faith to follow the path that's right for you.
Absolutely. And like being so like tight with this plan, like this is the only thing. How many great opportunities and right things are you missing because you are so laser focused on one and one only? Like, I can't tell you how many times I've taken one next step and then like something appears in my life that I never could have sat and planned for. You know what I mean? Like, I didn't
Literally.
even know that
Yeah.
this was an option. And if I would have been so tunnel vision with it, I would have missed that. I would have
Mm-hmm.
missed it completely. And so these one next steps, staying open, like I'm not saying just be out here just willy-nilly doing stuff all the time. Like have a good plan. Don't get me wrong. But be open to that plan adjusting. Be open to I don't have the entire plan. I just have like a few pieces. Okay, that's enough to work with. If we have a vision and we have the drive to do it, that's enough to get started.
Yeah. Okay. So tell me what your vision is.
My vision for me and my business, or
Yeah. For you and your
so,
business.
oh friend, we've got stuff to do. We're just getting started. So at time of recording, I am just shy of 2 years after the sale of my business.
Yeah.
So I've been building foundations and systems and figuring my life out and just getting my footing. I funny side story here, and I know better. Okay, Julie, I know better. But there was somewhere in my brain that tricked me that was like, oh, you're leaving the agency at this kind of level. We'll just slide right over on that same level in
Oh,
the
yeah.
speaking world. I mean, clearly,
Clearly, I've
that's
got so many years in
yeah.
business.
You want to
It's
talk about
just
being
going to transition.
oh yeah. You want to talk about being ridiculous. That was the universe being like, "Oh, sweet child, you're so cute." Again, I wasn't starting over
Oh, for
completely
sure.
because
Yeah.
I had a ton of experience at this point, but I was starting over as a speaker, a
Mm-hmm.
whole new industry, a whole new reputation, all new things that I had to learn. And that's what I've spent the last 2 years doing is figuring it out. And I think that I've figured out enough where things have caught some traction. So yay for that. So the
Yeah.
vision,
Yeah.
we're just getting started. There's definitely going to be a TEDx at some point. That is on the roster. Stages around the world, helping entrepreneurs, business owners, leaders, definitely women, just get out of their own way, right? Do
Mm.
the thing. I know that I make my most impact when I open my mouth. That
Yes.
is the tool that I was given to make the impact that I know that I was put here to do. And so that also looks like writing books and recording them on audiobook and just helping get this information into the hands and the ears of people that are ready to do the thing, or at least curious enough to see what it's all about.
Mm. And the impact that is going to happen all around the world because Laura used her voice and did the thing looks like.
People, let me think about this for a second. I I want this to sound more eloquent, but it just is what it is. People actually enjoying being alive, people living, like people doing fun things and experimenting and laughing again and having a life outside of a job and trying new things and going after the stuff that they once talked themselves out of. Like I'm obsessed with watching people come alive again. Like I see every single day people settle for a life that is just what, mediocre, settle for a career that they feel stuck in, settle in a marriage that doesn't light them up anymore, settle in health that's slowly draining them. Like settling keeps me up at night. I can't handle watching people settle, but those same people have to be willing to do something about it. And that's kind of the crossroads where I lock arms with people and I'm like, if you're ready to do this thing, let's fucking do it together. And so watching people come alive again, that's what it boils down to. If I'm doing my thing and the message is getting out there, people are living alive again.
So this is for my audience, they'll be like, of course. But like, this is funny because I don't know you very well. You filled out the application. I'm like, I feel like we're a soul sister. I could have said the exact same words and been like, no, it's about them coming alive again. It's literally, life is meant to be enjoyed and joyful, and you don't have to do it according to somebody else's box or idea or whatever. It's like your thing. What's your thing? Like, that lights you on fire, makes you happy, and like being able to go do it and express it and saying fuck everyone else's thoughts about that.
Yeah, it's everyone's gonna have an opinion about everything. You might as well value your own.
I know. So I'm like, you're like, I want this to be more eloquent, and I'm like, no, it was perfect.
No, it's just I'm like, where's the one-liner drop? And it's just that just is, when I just speak from the soul. And I led my mastermind earlier today, and the women in there, they're just doing the thing, and slowly but surely you can see like literally the light come back in their eyes and their confidence start to build, and they're sitting up a little straighter, and they're like, oh, if I did that, now I can do this. And they're remembering that they have options. They're remembering that they're allowed to change their mind. They're remembering that like, hey, I'm actually pretty talented, or I'm smart, or I've done hard things before. It's magical to watch them literally come back to life and do the thing that they know that they're ready to do.
I love that. What do you feel like is something from you that you used to hide a little bit more that you're showcasing more now in this age in your life?
Well, I'm pretty unfiltered. I two things come to mind if I may share. One, I'm incredibly intuitive. So I use my intuition, the downloads that I get, the clairaudient, all those clairs, I don't even know what they're all called. I receive messages. So when I'm working with people, I can often pick up on what they are feeling or what they need to say or where the block is before they even say a word. I didn't always use that in business because it's not always been accepted in the business world. It's seen as kind of taboo or woo-woo, or like, where's the concrete proof of this? And I'm like, well, right. I could give you a roster of clients where the concrete proof is now, my friend. You know what I mean? Like it's a tool that I've not always felt comfortable using. And now I literally just don't give two shits. It's one of my magical powers. It's how I help people. So that's one of them. The other one is not filtering my voice. Oh my goodness. As a child, I was taught that my voice was too much and nobody wanted to hear me, and sit down and shut up, and you're not allowed to have an opinion. And if you voice an opinion, then you're going to get thrown across the room. And so I was just taught that it was not safe to use my voice. Joke's on you guys, because now I get paid to use my voice. So, definitely some work that has been done around that. But slowly but surely feeling comfortable and confident, speaking my mind, using my natural tone. I have a lower voice for a woman. I don't hide behind that anymore. Actually, I think it's quite fantastic, if I may say so myself.
Absolutely.
I don't filter my words. I cuss. I'm of course I'm mindful in certain, rooms and situations, but the Gutsy podcast helped me to rediscover my voice. Like the early episodes. Oh, I love early Laura. She was so refined and read a script, and like I talked a little bit higher, like I had my customer service voice, and I leave every single episode up because without day one there would not be over 500 episodes at this point.
That's magical.
I wouldn't have found my voice. I wouldn't have found my tone. I wouldn't have found the way that I communicate best with the people that work with me. It's always been kind of an experiment and an unshedding, or a shedding, I should say. And just learning how I communicate in this world. And it's funny, the more raw, the more blunt, the more direct, the more kind of like call it for what it is I am, the more people keep raising their hands and coming in, because people are tired of the fluff. They don't want the BS. They don't want all this crap that comes along with it. They're like, I've been struggling with this for long enough. Some of the women that I work with have been dealing with this stuff for 5, 10, 20, 30 years. Okay. They don't want somebody to dance around it with them. Like, we're here to actually do the thing. So using my voice is the other one, and just being unapologetically who I am.
I love that. So you talk about using that with your clients. What do you feel like the biggest thing clients come to you for is? In general, they're searching for something. What do they find in you that they're like, oh, that's the thing I've been looking for?
One of the top things that I hear from my clients is, I love that you just give it to me straight. Like, there's no fluff, there's no BS, there's no coddling, and of course it's all rooted in love, right? I'm not like doing the early 2000s, like weight loss show screaming in your face BS.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not all about that. But they just want somebody to call them on their BS. They want somebody to reflect back to them what they can't see. They know that we're going to get to it. Like, people only sign up to work with me when they're ready to do it, because if they follow me in one video, or you've watched 500 of my videos, or you've listened to every podcast episode, you know that we're going to do the thing. And so they come to me because they don't want to sugarcoat it. They just want to get it done.
I love that. Okay, so you've started going out and speaking on stages. You're speaking with your clients. How is this transformed the way you are in your personal relationships? Because I'm like, that's the piece that makes us alive and connect with the people that are right here in our little circle all the time. And I found, as I have found my voice, there's been people who've stayed and people who have shifted out. And there's been times where it's hard and times where it's magical, but it's those interpersonal relationships where I'm like, oh man, that stuff, when you start using your voice in a different way, it can be tricky and magical all at the same time. So tell me how that part's worked out for you.
Yeah, it's another reason that people don't, right? They hide behind the facade of what everyone else wants, because then everybody stays. And with an abandonment wound myself from childhood, I get it. I conformed and molded and refined and filtered myself for a very long time with hopes of keeping people. And who's gonna go is gonna go. It doesn't matter who you are or what you do. And in fact, the quicker we can get on with it, the better. You know what I mean? Like, it hurts, it's gnarly in the moment, but my circle is small these days. There's not a lot. But these are deeply rooted relationships. These are meaningful. There's no surface level crap. There's no this behind that person's back, that, or what the other thing, like, the people in my circle are my people. And they're the ones that have been through so much of this evolution with me. So, like, my son and my husband, who I live with, I have to believe and trust that the evolution that I've made, especially in the last few years, has allowed me to be better for and with them. I'm happier. I'm starting to regain my health. I mean, we didn't even talk about that, how I developed an autoimmune disorder and my health was in the tank and like things were not good. I have my health back. I'm getting my vitality back. So I have more energy. You know what I mean? Like, my personality is more open and I'm like my natural, goofy, bubbly self again. I'm just able to be more present at home and with them. And I think that is everything, and anything beyond my four walls is an added bonus.
Right. So tell me more about this autoimmune disease that came into your life and how that transpired.
Yeah. So Graves' disease, if anyone's familiar, that is an autoimmune of the thyroid. Rare. It's not many people have it, but take this for what you will. I'm certainly not a medical practitioner. I don't pretend to be, but I am very in tune. And I know that when we are not doing something that's really intended for us, it can manifest in our body, right? Not expressing energy manifests and holds in our body. The body keeps the score is one of the top books for a reason. Our body holds and remembers things. And when I was not speaking, when I was not going all in, when I was forcing myself to continue down the agency road, when I was going down the road of building out the building and I was getting more and more off track, guess what went? My thyroid. And what's behind your thyroid? Your voice. Okay.
Yep.
I can't make this stuff up, but it happened. I go to the doctor. I land up in the emergency room. My numbers are off the charts. They're like, "Oh my God, you have an autoimmune. We got to get you on medicine immediately." I went on medicine for a while. Then I started to make all these changes and literally in my body. And I always follow your doctor, my friends. Okay. Listen, I worked with my doctor on this. I told him, I was like, my body's telling me it's time to come off this medicine. And he's like, well, okay, we have to wean and we have to test. And so we did that for like, I don't know, over a year. Guess whose autoimmune is in remission? Guess who has no medication for the thyroid right now? And guess who's using her voice every day? So again, is that the thing? I don't know. But I think it's a pretty funny coincidence that they align.
Wow. How long have you been off your medication?
A year, probably a year. Yeah, almost a year.
Is there anything you can share with the audience about what you did to use your voice very intentionally, kind of working with this Graves' disease and thinking to yourself, okay, I'm going to use my voice so that I can have as much healing in my body around this area as possible? What did that look like?
I don't think that I knew that that's what the case was.
Oh, okay, cool.
Like I didn't go into that situation being like, oh, I need to heal this by using my voice. Because I was just so bottomed out across the board that like everything was tired. And I was like, well, of course, this is going to be one more thing. It was actually more of an after fact where I realized like, oh, wait a second. And what happened was, I put more time and attention into the podcast. I sold the agency. I started creating TikTok content and recording videos. I started guesting on a lot of other people's podcasts like this one. I just started using my voice. And as that was happening, I could feel my body tell me less medicine. That's literally all. I call it hearsay. I'm not audibly hearing anything and I'm not seeing anything, but I can sense it, right? Hear, feel, hear, see. Less medicine. And so I would call my doctor and we would cut the pill into like little quarter pieces at a time. And ultimately I was able to completely wean off. So it was more of an after fact realization of like, I can see that my body was telling me that, hey, if we don't do what we're supposed to do, if we're not aligning with the universe's time, it will get your attention. And that just happened to be the way that it got mine.
I actually love that more because you were just trying to be in tune with your body. You weren't going, I have to heal this. I have to do this. It wasn't like in pushy, I don't know, masculine energy. It was like, no, just let me feel into what I need right now. I need less medicine. I need to speak my mind more. I need to, without the intent of it has to look like this, just being intentional with what you actually need that day, I think is actually kind of cooler.
Yeah. I couldn't agree more. It was things like, the intuitive hit that I got to make a video and then trusting that and making the video. It was, hey, this tug towards, let's see what podcast might be looking for guests right now and actually looking for them and applying. You know what I mean? It was just like hearing myself and feeling the nudges and trusting that, even though it didn't really have anything else beyond that, and taking the action. And slowly but surely it started to reverse itself.
I love that. Okay. Are you ready for a quick speed round?
Let's do it.
All right. What is the most ridiculous thing that you're currently obsessed with?
Taylor Swift's new album.
Taylor Swift's new album. Excellent. I hear it's doing really well. I want to go listen to it. I haven't listened to it yet.
I can't stop humming it in my head. It's just 24/7 and I've just accepted it as part of my personality right now.
Oh, I love that. Okay. One thing that makes you feel powerful instantly.
One moment, please. This is not very rapid fire of me.
That's okay.
Could you ask me that again?
One thing that makes you feel powerful instantly.
Getting on a stage.
There you go. I love that. There's something about that, like they announce your name. It's like, "Laura," and you walk them. It's very good. Okay, weirdest compliment you've ever received.
Weirdest compliment that I've ever received.
Yeah.
Oh, I don't weirdest. I don't know. I don't think that I've ever had a weird compliment. Maybe.
Hmm. Best one then. The one that you got that you were like, oh, made me cry kind of.
Best compliment I've ever received and ever receive is I love your energy.
Mm, I do like that. Okay. What's your spirit animal when you're in full gutsy mode?
These are hard questions. Like scratching a
You
different part of
didn't
my
know
brain
you were
today.
gonna have a test today.
No, I didn't. I'm like, damn, I don't. It's like one of those like people are like, what are you working on? Then all of a sudden I forget everything that I'm doing. Like, and I'm like, what
Just go
animals
with
fucking
your
exist?
gut response. It doesn't. There is no perfection. There's no right answer. What's your spirit animal? You're full gutsy mode. You're in podcast land on stage, full gutsy mode.
Panther.
Panther.
Yeah,
Okay.
they move slowly with an intention, and then when they're locked in, they go.
Yeah. 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 Okay. Somebody, you're at an event. You're not scheduled to speak, but there's somebody who doesn't show up, and they're like, last second, let's pull Laura up. The first thing you want to tell your audience is what?
Trusting themselves is one of the most underrated tools that they can use. Everything that you need to know, you already have on the inside.
Mm. What is the first step to trusting yourself?
Listening.
What are they listening for?
A nudge, a pull, an idea, the thing that keeps coming back on repeat.
I love that. I love that. Okay. Let's see. I'm gonna do one more. Oh, where does manifesting culture go wrong?
Oh, see, these are deep ass questions, Julie.
I know, I'm like rapid fire.
These are not rapid fire. This is like fireside fucking chat stuff. Ask me that one more time, please.
Where does manifesting culture go wrong?
That you have to do it a certain way, that everyone has to do it one way. I think that I manifest one way and you manifest another way, and everyone listens manifest another way, and all of it works if we do it our own way. Like following a formula, following a step-by-step this, like don't get me wrong, like be influenced, learn new techniques, test it out, but ultimately do it your own fucking way. Because if it's not working, chances are you either don't believe in it or you're trying to follow the way that someone else is telling you to do it.
See, you wrapped that up just perfectly. Okay, Laura, where can everyone find you for all of our listeners out there that are like, okay, I need somebody to just tell me how it is and get to the point and like call me on my shit and do all the things and be nice and gutsy. Where can people find you, Laura?
Yeah, LauraAura.com is the hub for all things me. There you can find links to the Gutsy Podcast and the different programs that I offer. And then on social, I am at that LauraAura. So come connect with me. If you want a little swift kick in the mental ass, I got you.
Okay, we'll have all of your links there for everyone to find. And that was LauraAura, y'all. If that didn't light a fire under your resistance and melt your inner self into a puddle of glitter, I don't know what will. You can connect with her at LauraAura.com. So that's going to be fabulous. What's the thing you want to share with everyone? They have one more takeaway from you. The one thing they should take away from this episode is
you are allowed to want what you want. It doesn't have to make sense to anybody else. It doesn't matter how long you've done something else. Whatever you're doing in your life right now, if there's something that you want, you're allowed to want that. You're allowed to go after it. And it's time. It's time. If that thing has been coming to the front of the mind, it's time, my friend.
It is time. Today, right now, we have control over today, right now, in this body, in this self, right here. That's the only thing we have. let's make this piece work, right? Let's make it count. Today's the time. It's right now. So with that, thank you, Laura, so much for joining us. This has been Julie May and the Ridiculously You podcast. I know what my podcast is. It's Ridiculously You podcast. Go be gutsy, go be ridiculous, and we will talk to you next time.
Share the spark, take it higher. Hit subscribe, bring a friend. Let the wildness never end.